Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another Heffy Doodle video. I have Dino Time, I have the new tag-along dies, I have a selection of wonderful green cardstock here. I store my cardstock in rainbow order, so I just pulled a bunch of like darker greens. I grabbed a few of those brighter ones. Right now I'm sorting through them to decide which ones I want to use. I don't trust myself to remember all of the names, so they will all be listed below. So this wonderful green color, I'm just cutting it down to 3.5 by 4 3/4. That's that's the size of the card front I like to use. And this is one of the tag-along dies from the tag-along die set by Heffy Doodle. This one cuts out basically a tag, okay? So, or you could use the negative space and it would be a window. So I'm getting rid of the tag and we're just going to use the window. And so now I have an idea to use the frame that also comes with this die set to frame my scene here. So I decided on a mustardy yellow. So I was going back and forth between these two, but this one I know is Saffron Spice. So it's by Paper Tray Ink, I think. And so I'm cutting out just the frame that comes with that die set. And it looks almost like a movie with those little scallops at the top. I don't know, that's just what I was thinking. So here's my little triangular architectural ruler. I'm just making some marks where I kind of know where the background is. This is my Heffy Doodle memo tape and some type of hole punch. This is like, I have a very small collection of hole punches now, but here, this is like the biggest one I had. I just grabbed it. I figure it's gonna work out. And I'm using Ranger watercolor paper, by the way, and some Distress Oxides, like these, and my Nuvo blender brush. I want to blend on like a night sky, but also like a warm night sky. Not really like a starry night, just kind of like an evening. So these are the colors that I was kind of going through. And I also wanted it to appear as if it was warm there. Okay, so that's where I got the orange. I don't know. I just tell you guys what I'm thinking. It's not always normal. Who am I kidding? It is never normal. So I'm going in for the blue. Okay, so it's going to be a blue-black that blends into this orangey yellow. And I like using these blender brushes because you can build the color up, and after a while it just becomes smooth and really well blended, and I like that. So I'm going back and forth from the colors, so I'll add the blue and then the orange and then the black and then some more yellow, and I just keep going back and forth until I really like how it's turning out. Now, the little circle mask that we placed in the sky there, that's going to be my moon. So that's why I use the Heffy Doodle masking tape or memo tape to mask that area and keep it white for me. Because I knew I was going to be going over it a gazillion trillion times with these brushes. So I love how that looks. It's exactly kind of, what I was going for. So we're peeling off the mask and it's super white. So we need to lighten that or soften it a little so that it's not like this bright moon in your face. It just looks out of place. So I'm using the little tiny makeup brush from the set, or blender brush, whichever set you have. And it kind of helps me stay in that little area. I'm using my splatter box because we're going to add some shine. You don't have to do this step, but I'm going to do this step. This is my we're going to add some shine dance, okay? Because that's how much I like it. We are using Imagine Crafts, both Frost and Sparkle Shimmer Spritz, and Hero Art's White Iridescent Spray. They're all slightly different, and I like using them all, so please don't judge me. Now I'm going to take and set this in front of the fan so it can air dry. So I like gray. I like gray a lot. This is not all of my gray cardstock, but that's okay. I'm comparing the others, just like I did with the greens, and kind of going with the colors that I feel coordinate best with the green and the mustard that I've already chosen. So once I decide which grays I want to use, I just set the rest aside. So this snow-capped mountain edge die is by Your Next Stamp, and I love it. It's like the perfect mountainscape that can go in your background, and it comes with these kind of snowy tops. I thought they would be more like volcanoes, so I went with like an ashy gray. So here is the front panel, the green that I originally picked, and Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous like reptile embossing folder, and I love how this turned out. It looks so fantastic. I'm already enjoying how this card is coming together, so I grabbed some Neenah 110-pound cardstock and a few images from the Dino-Time stamp set by Heffy Doodle, and some Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink. This is Copic friendly ink, and we are going to do some Copic coloring. I stamped them several times just to make sure that if I make any mistakes, I still have backups. But right now, I have the palm trees from that same stamp set, some sponge daubers, and some Distress Oxide inks. Make sure you check your sponge daubers, especially if you've used them before. Or you could transfer color like this. Yeah. To fix that, all you have to do is kind of wipe it away with a cloth and then re-ink your ink pad, and it should fix the issue, if there is one. I checked this one. So I'm inking up with the crushed olive on one side and then the forest moss kind of in the center, and I'm just making sure that I have like a good blend of those two colors. Even though it's a lot brighter, I'm thinking that mowed lawn got on there at some point. And then I do stamp that, and I do that twice. And actually the second time that I went to stamp this stamp, I just covered it with the crushed olive to try to make up for some of that mowed lawn that was residue on my ink blending tool. But honestly, I love how it looks, so really, no harm, no foul. It turns out like a wonderful 2 thumbs up palm tree top. To go with the bottom, I'm taking walnut stain and ground espresso. Ground espresso. That's some ASMR for you. I'm taking the ground espresso on like more the center or the inner portion of the bendy trunk of this tree, and then the walnut stain towards the outer side of the tree, and I'm just blending those two together, and I do stamp it twice to get a good saturation of color on my paper. Once our trees are stamped out, I do set them aside to dry completely, and we're doing some Copic coloring now. If you do not enjoy this, please skip ahead. But I do have a Copic color map, even though this one isn't real Copic heavy. It's a pretty short list. I'm coloring my Pteranodon/pterodactyl. This was a huge dispute in my house. If you've seen much of my family vlog videos, you can tell that my son is like a dinosaur expert. He should be working at Jurassic Park. So even though he thinks that he is Chris Pratt, I don't know if this is supposed to be a Pteranodon or a pterodactyl. I think it's a great debate. So I listed it as a pterodactyl on my Copic color map, but Dexter feels that it was a pteranodon. What do you think? Leave it in the comments below. I get asked a lot about how I store my dies in these stamp pockets. So I'm going to show you. I buy a piece of chipboard and a magnet with sticky adhesive on the back, and I stick them together. Well, I cut them first and then I stick them together. So I just make little 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 sheets and stick them together so that it has some rigidity, and then that's what I throw in to organize my coordinating dies. I like doing this because I can make whatever size I want. So this fits in my stamp pocket, but I also use full sheets for some of my felting dies or some of the sets that are too big to fit into those small pockets. So I used my Your Next Stamp die snips to break apart those dies for the first time and cut out my images. I love these palm trees. They are so adorable. So all of my images are now cut out, but I still need a sentiment. So I'm taking one of those grays that I picked out earlier. This is Simon Says Stamp SLATE. cardstock, and I'm using this tiny sentiment from the Dinky Dinos stamp set. This is one of the smaller Heffy Doodle stamp sets that is now available for purchase in the Heffy Doodle shop. And some Nuvo Clear Mark embossing ink and some Ranger white embossing powder to heat emboss. Use the magic of heat embossing to emboss my sentiments. I'm embossing both this one that says "Hope Your Day Is" and the Dino-Mite. And Dino-Mite is awesome because the set has coordinating dies and it cuts out the Dino-Mite sentiment, and it is super cute. Look at it. So now I'm cutting the background that I created with those Distress Oxide inks. I'm cutting it down to fit behind that front panel, the reptilian front panel that I created. I want it to nest behind there. But first, we have to add some things to the background, like my mountains that I think look like volcanoes, but Tim says that they are snow-capped mountains. Either way, it works with the scene, okay? So now I'm adding on that reptilian embossed front panel, and I think you could stop there, okay? It looks great, and I'm super excited about how this card is turning out. So now I'm using super thin slivers of foam tape to pop up my frame. I probably put it on there a little wonky donkey, but that's okay. That's okay. We're going to use Tombow Mono liquid adhesive to adhere my ash covered mountains. And my tweezers make that super easy for me to do. So now I'm simply cutting slivers of foam tape to put behind my images. Some of them were popped up and some of them were not. If I had it to do over, I would totally, my little Triceratops, I would have popped him up on that yellow piece instead of where I put him on the mountains. I don't like where he is, but you know, sometimes those things happen. It's still a great card. I love it. I think it's super cute. I also got a finger smudge right there on my mountains, but don't look too close. I'm using scrapbook.com double-sided adhesive to pop that up onto my Simon Says Stamp Fog card base, and that's it. That's my card for today. Please find Heffy Doodle on social media. I love to interact with you in the comments below. And until next time, coming up next is some vlog footage that Tim and I shot at the Grand Canyon in January. Enjoy!
Ah, there we go. How are we doing? Yeah? Yeah, where are we?
At the Grand Canyon.
Yeah. There's a big hole. Big hole. Alright. How you doing? Alright, I'm gonna go take a look.
Are you gonna go?
I'm gonna go take a look. I'm gonna bring us with me.
Okay.
Alright, come on. Interesting additional note, it's snowing right now at the Grand Canyon. It's like snowing. I don't know if you can see it, but for real, no. Great big hole. She's getting a little closer each time. Alright, we're gonna see what we can see here. Alright? How we doing?
I got a little farther away.
Yeah, I can see. It's alright. In case you can't quite tell, she got a little braver. She was all the way down here with me. And then she saw somebody sitting on like this little outcropping right there. and it freaked her out, and then she ran away, right? So there she is. She's all the way, she's like, she's almost back in Nevada. Like, I love you, baby. I hope she doesn't see this. It will not do anything for her confidence. Gotcha. There she is. Got a little closer. See? Yeah, she's back down towards where I am. Yeah, getting there. Getting there. Let's see. I'm gonna go back to the edge.
And that's how you get him to shoot a cannon.
You doing this just so you can make fun of me for using a cannon?
No. Are you having fun?
Yes.
Do not break my 5-foot rule.
There's a 5-foot rule?
Well, what'd you think of the Grand Canyon?
It's cold here.
You know what I learned? We bring the worst luck to everything we do.
Okay, it was still fun.
It's snowing.
Okay, let's go home.
Home? Like, real home? Home, going home.